What up, everyone, and welcome back to the Shananigans podcast. Shananarambles, question marks. I don't know what we're calling it. It's up to A-Game, and however she tells me, and whatever it is, the things that she makes me do. She's the producer around here. I just do the work because she's the star. Ta-da! Everyone do what A-Game says. Anyway, we upload podcasts. We do that, the last Saturday of every month. I think that's the theme we're going for. Theme, motif, rhythm, I don't know. I just work here. I just do what A-Game says, in case you haven't picked that up. What we do in our podcast is whatever the hell A-Game says. I think I already mentioned that one. I'm not 100% sure. Otherwise, if you're here, welcome. Enjoy. I hope you enjoy the episode. I'm sitting here as well. I got no idea what's going on. But, whilst I've got your attention, make sure that if you're enjoying what we do, consider leaving a like, sharing, subscribing, do whatever. All that stuff, just do it all. Because if you do it all, then I don't have to bug you to do it again. And A-Game will leave me alone. She'll be going, Shenanigans, things aren't going well. I demand pictures of Spider-Man. And it's really awkward because then I'm like, well, this is awkward because I don't know who the hell you're pretending to be. And then she's like, Great Caesar's Ghost. And it gets all confusing because she's getting J. Jonah Jameson and Perry White confused, which are two completely different editor-in-chiefs at newspapers in different comic book universes. It's really awkward. Anyway, as I was saying, do all the things because we upload stuff regularly. I think we've got episodes and we do podcasts, and this is the third one, and this is A-Game's one, and she's going to take over now, and I'm going to sit here quietly until she talks to me again. And man, it is hard to talk and breathe through your nose at the same time, but I can breathe at the end of sentences, so that's okay. And swallow. That's going to be taken out of context. Over to you, A-Game.
I'm going to delete that.
No! That was gold!
Yeah, I'm sure half...
That was lightning in a
I'm sure
bottle.
half the readers got 30 seconds into that and went, I'm out of here. Listeners.
Readers?
Listeners!
Are you aware of what medium we do?
Yes, I'm
Are you
talking
sure?
into a microphone.
I think you just come up and yell things at me and make magic happen.
I think you've just
Get
sucked,
me Spider-Man.
you just
And then I do
all
stuff.
The fun out of this right there.
And then you're just like, listeners. That was a good intro. We should keep this intro.
I don't think I'm going to have much of a choice. All right. Welcome back, everyone.
Hi.
To the third podcast, which I'm kind of not in the mood for anymore.
What? How can you not be in the mood?
You just spent the last however long
I don't know.
bad-mouthing me.
I didn't badmouth you.
Yeah, you did. The last 4 minutes.
4 minutes? Really?
Take out a minute for a synchronization, probably 3 or 2.
Damn. I don't think I was badmouthing you.
You weren't painting a very nice picture of me.
You're the producer. Your job is to slave drive.
Good. Shut up and smile.
That's what... All right.
Now you can talk now.
I was, and then you told me to shut up and smile.
Just say nice things. Be nice.
A-Game is a good...
I didn't say you had to be nice to me. Just be nice in general.
Are very tolerable and forgiving and will leave various likes and comments because they like what we do.
All right, everybody, let's just dive straight in and stop being with awkwardness.
These
I'm
are not the
A-Game,
droids you're
he's
looking for.
Shenanigans, we're Shananarambles. This is podcast 3. It's Halloween. We're doing the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
I thought we were doing Stories Untold.
That's what we're playing. This is what we're talking about.
So what do the listeners read to?
I'm not even going to answer that.
But you said they've got to read.
Yeah, they do. The description.
Oh.
And the links in the description are very important for this episode. All right, everybody. We're doing
Good
Treehouse
segue.
of Horror, one of my favourite things to
What
do
is
for
a Treehouse
Halloween.
of Horror, A-Game?
It is the Simpsons Halloween special.
So is it something they do all the time?
Once a season.
Oh, interesting.
Except for the first one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, you did.
I'm pretending to be the audience.
Okay. Well, the audience over there has
The
done
audience
research.
are idiots, apparently.
The audience over there have spent the last few days doing research for this, sitting around watching Simpsons episodes. So
it's hard
you
work.
should know which seasons they're from. All right, everybody.
It
We're
was
doing.
very difficult.
We're discussing a specific list today. The 10 best Treehouse of Horror tales from The Simpsons by Kiara Martin from last year on pastemagazine.com. But that's not all I'm discussing. I've got a few other things that I'm going to be throwing in there. Shenanigans and I have got our own lists we're going to compare to from all the research we've been doing.
Second list on Entertainment Tonight?
If that's what
E.T.
ET Online means, then yes. All right, so that's my...
We're going Hollywood.
So that's my second little list. So I've got my main list, which is the 10 best Treehouse of Horror tales, which we're going to be talking about. But I also found another list. 12 truly scary Simpsons Treehouse of Horror segments. And we're just going to be seeing which of our 10 are actually scary ones.
None.
No, some of them are. All right, everybody. Now, Shenanigans and I, in our research, we have only done episodes 1 to 10 of the Treehouse of Horror.
That research needs air quotes around it.
No, it doesn't.
For the readers.
Definitely do not. Alright, so we watched episodes 1 to 10 and came up with our favourites. We didn't watch all the way through.
Shouldn't that be we watched seasons 1 through to 11 of each Halloween special?
Seasons 2 through 11. Episodes...
That's right, because you said... yeah, I'm listening.
Treehouse of Horror episodes 1 to 10.
Yep.
Alright, now we're discussing the segments, not the full episodes.
I to X, for all you Romans out there.
So, one Treehouse of Horror episode has 3 little stories in it. Mm-hmm. We're discussing the individual stories, not the full episodes. And one reason we decided to do only the first 10 episodes is because we are fully of the belief, yes, hand raised, yes.
What if we liked an entire episode? What if all 3 stories were really good?
Well, then you just write down all 3 of those segments.
Okay.
On your list. Hey, there's a few on my list that I think I've got quite a few times. Where's my mouse? There's quite a few on my list where I've got from the same episode.
Okay. I don't feel so
Actually,
bad.
I do. I have one full episode on my list for favourite segments. But yes, so we decided only to watch the first 10 Treehouse of Horror episodes instead of the whole 30, I think there are.
They're up to 32.
Or whatever. Simply because Shenanigans and I were
31.
always of the opinion that the first 10, maybe 11 seasons of The Simpsons were our favourites. And we knew they were kind of called classic Simpsons. But it wasn't until I started researching this I actually realised that The Simpsons actually has a golden age.
Just like comics.
No, so it's in the Simpsons community. I'm reading off Simpsons Wiki right now.
Can you synopsize that?
What?
Can you synopsize that?
I don't know what that means.
Can you succinct it to 2 sentences?
Simpsons Wiki.
That paragraph.
I'm just going to read what I think's most important, yeah.
The Simpsons Golden Age is known as Classic Era. Everything after is known as Zombie Simpsons.
The Simpsons Golden Age, also known as the Classic Era, is a term that describes roughly the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons. Critics say it's actually between seasons 3 and 8, but there's no exact date for Golden Age start and finish. But apparently, beyond the Golden Age, the show has been widely regarded as Zombie Simpsons.
My theory is because it just went on and didn't die.
For the Zombie Simpsons thing.
Yeah. I mean, why else would you call it the Zombie Simpsons?
Kind of makes sense. Most people, according to this, attribute the Golden Age ending to the writers departing.
The Simpsons is not on the projects such as... I can't read that second last sentence. I saw the word Futurama.
The Golden Age ended for many reasons, such as Mike Scully's arrival as the showrunner for seasons 9 to 12. Many of the classic writers had left, as well as Matt Groening, David S. Conan, etc., left The Simpsons to work on other projects such as Futurama.
Woohoo! I love Futurama.
Well, there we go. So I didn't actually realise till we started researching this that it wasn't just, us or a few other people who considered classic Simpsons an actual thing. It's an actual thing.
When we were watching, I was reading the credits at the start of each thing, and I noticed a lot of the writers were from Futurama. I recognise them from Futurama. So I put 2 and 2 together. Okay, clearly they were working on The Simpsons before they migrated across to Futurama. But I didn't know that helped contribute to the Golden Age.
The Golden Age was when they were there.
Yeah.
And then when they left, it stopped.
Because Futurama took over.
No, just because they didn't write Simpsons as well.
Futurama is highly underrated, okay?
I like Futurama!
Criminally underrated is what I was trying to say.
Anyway, so that was just a little tidbit that I found a bit fun. Didn't
Neat.
realise that it wasn't just me and Shananigans and my Simpsons crew from work that weren't the only ones who thought of...
We have other people here.
No, my other job.
You have 2 jobs?
You've
You've been moonlighting?
I have lots of jobs. And I have lots of people I talk Simpsons with. And yes, we all had the same opinion. I didn't realise that it was actually a thing. Which I suppose is just shame on me. Anyway, let's get on with this. Alright, I'm going to start reading from my list here. Okay. Best 10 Treehouse of Horror Tales from The Simpsons. Starting in the 2nd season, The Simpsons kicked off their annual tradition of The Simpsons Halloween Special, better known as the Treehouse of Horror. From spooky names in the credits, bat groaning, nasty Nancy Cartwright, etc., to goofy epitaphs, until amusing tombstones themselves died a death. Each episode was stuffed with references to the spookily dookily, as well as 3 distinct tales of terror. As the years wore on, and much of the traditional Halloween fodder had already been mined for material, later seasons saw the stories become more about the opportunity to explore a fantastical plot or parody, whatever was in the national zeitgeist, rather than celebrate Samhain. And while this resulted in some entertaining vignettes, like how to get ahead in deadvertising, which was a rare treat from season 20, along the way it seems that the writers strayed a little too far from the treehouse. We can still relive the glory days of The Simpsons though, so enjoy our list of the top 10 Treehouse of Horror tales below.
Do I recall you said, I'm pretty sure you were the one who said it, that the first episode took place in a treehouse. So the first Treehouse of Horror took place in the treehouse in the backyard. But the rest of them didn't from there.
Not of the ones we watched, no.
Because the first couple of years, they were stories within stories. So the treehouse, they told stories. Then they were inside at a Halloween party.
And they were telling stories. And then the other one was they'd eaten too much candy and they're all having nightmares.
That's right.
But
then after that, it just became the Simpsons opening credits.
Halloween
3 Halloween
special.
stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm not actually... Well, in the actual episodes, when they start, it says Halloween special.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say Treehouse of Horror.
No.
We've always just called them that. But the very first one, Homer comes home from trick-or-treating, he's got a bag, he looks up, and the kids are telling stories in the treehouse. Remember, because the story ends with them climbing down, but I'm not going to be scared tonight, and Homer's sitting there shaking.
Is the episode itself called The Tree? I know the title in the episode says Simpsons Halloween Special I for Roman numeral. But if to say I looked it up in a TV guide or Googled it.
I don't think it comes up as Treehouse. Oh no, maybe it does. Because if you look them up on Disney Plus, which we have, it comes up with Treehouse of Horror episode. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. I mean, even this article said that better known as Treehouse of Horror, but they're called the Simpsons Halloween Specials.
Go about your thing.
Google faster.
I can't.
Alright, number 10 on this list. Let's get going, everyone. Number 10 on this list is The Island of Dr. Hibbert, which is actually from the 13th Halloween special, so it's outside of what we watched, but I have seen this one. I remember this one. I liked this one. Based on H.G. Wells' The Island of Dr. Moreau, the story starts with the Simpsons family vacationing on Dr. Hibbert's Island of Lost Souls. They're greeted by the good doctor and a hairier-than-usual Willie, but remain undeterred as they settle into their creepy jungle abode. Even clueless Homer realizes something is amiss after he beds a feline Marge and has to milk a half-cow Flanders. The hilarity of the human-animal hybrids is compounded by Homer's realization that he envies the life of these cryptids who just eat, and mate, and eat, and mate. So yes, I've seen this one. I think Shananigans has too. This, not just this segment, this whole episode 13 of the Halloween specials, is actually considered one of the best post-Golden Age Treehouse of Horror episodes. So doesn't really surprise me that that's in the list. This one is also featured on my 12 Truly Scary Simpsons Treehouse of Horror segments.
I'm still here.
I gotta scroll to it, everyone. So, and the reason it's listed as one of the truly scary episodes is for the scene where the half turkey, half Professor Frink is cooked and served for dinner and screams as Dr. Hibbert cuts into him. That, if nothing else, makes this episode creepy. Have you finished Googling over there?
Yeah.
What was the answer?
I did extensive research. Every Halloween episode is called Treehouse of Horror.
But does that come up in the actual episode, or is that just what they're called?
So IRL, Treehouse of Horror, Roman numeral.
Mm-hmm.
In the episode,
Simpsons Halloween Special.
Simpsons Halloween Special, blah, blah, blah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that little input. Now discuss the episode.
Who are we talking about? Yeah.
We didn't watch this one in our research, but we
seen this
have both seen it. I remember it. I remember liking it. I mean, from memory, for most of the episode, I mean, the first person who gets changed is Marge. She's the feline.
No, I don't think so.
I thought it wasn't until really the end that all the kids got changed as well.
I can't remember. I remember I was a little bit creeped out by that episode, honestly.
Good. Good. That's what you're supposed to feel.
Oh, okay.
You're supposed to feel creeped out. They're supposed to be
I thought the
Halloweeny.
Simpsons were about laughs.
They're supposed to be spookily dookly.
Oh.
All right. Number 9 is Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace.
I like this one.
Episode 6. Yes, I like this one too. All right. So, on a cold, smarch day.
Much weather.
Do not touch Willie. Good advice. Groundskeeper Willie perishes in the fiery boiler room thanks to the negligence of the PTA and, as expected, Homer's stupidity. The late Scotsman takes his revenge by stalking the school children's dreams. Martin dies via a tongue lashing, prompting Lisa and Bart to challenge Willie to a showdown during their next nightmare. It's a particularly satisfying homage as Willie's Freddy Krueger opens up doors for more truly ingenious plaid-covered creations, including him as a giant bagpipe arachnid. And that scene alone earns him a place on the truly scary list. As watching groundskeeper Willie morph into a giant bagpipe spider is something that, as a child, you don't soon forget.
I thought it was good. I liked that episode. It was based on Friday the 13th.
No, it's not.
Oh, no.
It's based on a Nightmare on Elm Street. Weirdo.
Look, they're very similar.
You're thinking about the intro that had Freddy Krueger and Friday the 13th bad guy sitting on the couch waiting for them to come in. Yes. Yes, we both watched this one.
Oh my god, was that an ad for Casper the Ghost?
I don't know. We both
like
enjoyed
the 1990s film Casper the Ghost?
I don't know. You're not supposed to be looking at the ads. You're supposed to be reading the thing.
But E.T. was showing it.
It's hopeless, everybody. It's absolutely hopeless. Yeah, nah. Did like this one. But yeah, it's, it's a parody, so there's not much ingenuity to it, I guess. It's pretty much...
what's that word?
I can't say it. You say it for me.
Ingenuity?
Yeah, that one. There you go. That's what I meant.
I would argue that there was a lot.
I think most of the ingenuity came from the opening scene with the lousy smarch weather and the nay or yay for fire extinguishers, nay. Yay or nay for free doorknobs, nay. Willie, please. Mr. Van Houten has the floor.
I thought it was a good one. Yep.
You're not for much discussing this, is that? Oh, yes.
I'm keeping my cards close to my chest because at the end I'm supposed to discuss my list. So I'm holding back.
I think one of the best parts of this episode is at the end where Willie just gets off the bus and goes, boo!
Boo!
I left my gun on the seat. Wait here, please.
I can't do a Scottish accent, but yes, it was very funny. And then you get there was a wacky Simpsons theme as he was chasing after the bus. And he left his shoe and he's like, oh, Dara, oh. Chases after the bus still. Anyway.
I'm like, oh, Bart, you're in trouble. Wake up. I'm not asleep. I'm just resting my... Oh. Good one-liners in all of these episodes. The next one's one of my favorites. It's on my list. It's King Homer.
What's this one parodying?
I'll get to that. Jeez.
I can't tell.
Okay, this may have made it to the list purely for the Smithers line, I think women and semen don't mix.
That's a good one.
Rendered in black and white, Grandpa Simpson tells the tale of King Homer, which is just like King Kong, except the great ape doesn't have the stamina to climb all the way to the Empire State Building.
It's true. I think he was like on the 3rd floor and he fell.
So this is a parody of King Kong, and according to Wiki Simpsons, this is most likely the 1933 version due to the black and white scenes. This is not one of the most scary, unfortunately. No.
It was good. It was entertaining. I mean,
It was.
all
It was very
Simpsons
entertaining.
episodes
I think the most entertaining part is at the wedding where Marge doesn't even care that her husband just ate her father.
No, because they they play that happy little jingle.
You look a
on
little
the outro.
flushed. Maybe you should eat more fruit and less people. And then he falls off the building. Yes. Nah. Very entertaining. One of the ones on my list. So tick.
Cool. Keep it going.
He's not going to mention his until the end.
No.
The Devil and Homer Simpson. Homer wakes up from a daydream to indulge in one of his favourite pastimes, consuming a delicious donut. When even his emergency stash is nowhere to be found, though, he makes a deal with the devil for dessert. And who better to embody Satan than wholesome neighborino Ned Flanders? Marge manages to stage a trial to win back Homer's soul, with a verdict from a jury of, well, not his peers exactly, but a jury nonetheless. Despite some sly legal manoeuvring from the Simpson matriarch, though, the devil has the last laugh.
It's true.
He's got to come out of there sometime, boys.
I liked it because it had the late Phil Hartman.
I think I liked this whole episode. I think when I was watching these myself, I was trying to pick the ones for my list that there wasn't one bit of the episode I didn't enjoy. And that's why this one's on my list. There wasn't one bit of this that I didn't... Because there were some things that I could have put on my list because I enjoyed them, but there was just one thing maybe at the end or in the middle that wasn't 100% hit the mark.
Wow, you are a
And so
harsh
they
critic.
didn't meet... I had to be. I like them all.
You are a harsh critic.
This is one of the ones where I liked it completely from start to end. You know, hey, Bart. Hey. So yes, this is one of the ones on my list. This is not a parody of anything from what I could look
I
up.
thought it was.
It didn't come up in any of my searches as a parody of a specific something.
Okay, yeah, alright, that's fair. The title, I think, is a parody on the film The Devil and I.
Okay, I don't know that movie.
I could be getting that wrong.
Okay, well, you can Google that
Well, I
later,
don't wanna.
tomorrow, another time.
What? Wait, more work?
All right, number 6. The Thing and I.
Maybe that's where I was getting it from.
The Thing and I from episode 7. Bart, Lisa, and Maggie are horrified to find out they have a secret 4th sibling, Bart's former conjoined twin Hugo, who is apparently pure evil and therefore kept locked away in the attic. Fed on a steady diet of fish heads and chained to a wall, poor Hugo has gone mad and makes his escape. Hell-bent on sewing himself and Bart back together, what makes this story really work, though, is the sinister reveal at the end. Which, as I pointed out to Shannon halfway through the episode, that if anyone was paying attention, it wasn't really a surprise.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first time you watch it...
You're not thinking. You don't think to notice that.
I was watching this, and I clearly remember that. The first time I watched
but you're
this...
weird like that.
What, that I worked it out?
Yeah, you watch anything the first time. You've got it pegged the first 20 minutes into it.
I was much younger back then.
Don't watch anything.
When I first watched this, the first time I watched this episode, I got into it, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Such a twist ending. Remember seeing it the second time, I'm like, but the scar's on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And then
of course,
after that, I'm just like, okay, so the breadcrumbs were there the whole time. You were meant to figure it out.
Yeah, but the
and
thing...
then watching it this time, I'm like, okay, yep, everything's laid out in front of you. You've just got to be smart enough to notice it then and then, put it together, and then be like, okay.
Well, the thing that I thought was
and as
funny...
Bart said at the end, don't be so surprised.
Oh, please, don't be so shocked.
That's it.
The thing that I thought was funny is that Bart himself didn't know about this. And he was like, oh, please, if any of this was true, don't you think I've had a huge, hideous scar? But he pulled up the wrong side of his shirt. As if innately he knew his scar was going to be on that side.
Yeah, didn't notice that.
All right, this one is...
Fun fact, I remember this was around the time I started getting into Simpsons more heavily and piecing...
Towards the end of the good era?
Well, no, I mean, I wasn't late to the party of The Simpsons fandom, but I wasn't there at the start, so I missed a few seasons to begin with. And then when I did get up to it, the Halloween special, when I got up to this one, I'm like, how does that fit in canonically? He has a twin brother. They don't mention it ever again. Before I caught on that, oh, okay, these are...
Oh, you watched this thinking it was real?
Yeah, I thought this was canonical.
Oh, how cute.
And then, yeah, it was much later on, or not much later on, but
you
then I realised that, oh, okay, these are self-contained.
Well, you think if it was something that was
series.
ongoing, Homer would have slipped up more than once about the 4 children.
Yeah.
All right, so this one is a parody.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, it is a parody not only of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, but of something called Basket Case, which I've never heard of, and after I've looked up, I don't want to watch. It's a 1982 American horror film. It's about, or the main person in it is a normal-looking person who seeks vengeance for the unwanted surgery that separated him from his deformed conjoined twin. So the story is pretty much the two of them were separated when they were young against their will. The normal-looking one takes care of his deformed ex-conjoined twin. The deformed one is annoyed at having been separated from his normal-looking twin, and they both want vengeance against the doctors who did it. But of course, in the course of the story, because they're both living different lives, they end up in a lot of conflicts, and it is actually a pretty twisted story.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm very glad that the Simpsons episode just ended with Bart in the attic.
That part
compared to what it could have.
That part really creeped me out, that his family were just so willing to be like,
there's one thing we can do
right.
that'll set this all
and
right.
they just swap it over, and then Bart's like, hey, can I
have some turkey?
Oh, you finish your fish heads. And they just shut him out. I'm like, oh my God, that's my
finish some
family.
fish heads, sweetie, then we'll talk.
That's me and my family. Oh my God. That's all I remember thinking.
Yeah. Nah.
Let's roll. Keep going.
I did enjoy this one, but it was that ending. I think that ending, and then there were some certain bits in it where I was just like, no, this doesn't really completely hit the mark. But we do all love that scene where he's like, you're crazy. And he's like, oh no, I've been practicing. Look, I made a pigeon rat. All right, number 5, Clown Without Pity. This tale finds its inspiration in the Living Doll episode of The Twilight Zone rather than Child's Play.
Oh.
As you may have thought, when Homer forgets Bart's birthday, he makes a quick stop at the House of Evil shop to pick up a cursed talking Krusty doll and some also cursed Frogget. Bart is delighted with the gift, but soon enough the toy clown begins to threaten Homer's life. A change in the factory settings is all that's needed to get the Simpson household back to its usual, slightly less lethal chaos, thankfully. This one is apparently truly scary. Everyone without fail is terrified of 2 things, clowns and creepy dolls. And that is why this story about a creepy clown doll that comes to life is one of the scariest Treehouse of Horror segments. Are you afraid of clowns and creepy dolls?
No, but when I was young, I had a fear of Slappy the Dummy from Goosebumps.
Of course you would. Everyone's supposed to be scared of that damn thing.
Yeah, that ventriloquist dummy thing, that got me.
Yeah. But the ventriloquist dummies now are so cool. Jeff Dunham, Strassman.
Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm thinking...
Totally blank look there. I was like, come on, dude. We love these guys.
Because you said ventriloquist dolls. I don't associate ventriloquist dolls with the actual comedian.
Peanut. Teddy Bear.
Yeah, if you started saying those names, I would have gone, right, Jeff Dunham, David Stress... Jeff Dunham,
Did you
David
just
Strassman.
call Teddy Bear scary?
No, I'm just saying I would have associated those characters with the comedian quicker than, ventriloquist dolls.
You insulted Teddy Bear. He's crying somewhere.
I don't know what you want me to say to that.
Sorry!
If David Strassman ever hears this, I'm sorry. Now, I've been to a lot of your shows and you got me up on stage once.
Are you serious?
I've told you this story.
Well, clearly not enough.
Okay. So this was back in the days when I was young and he was starting out. Well, he wasn't starting out. He was big enough to make his way over here, I guess. And he was on this particular tour, he introduced Kevin the Space Alien. But back then, he was green, brown, and yellow. And I got up on stage with him and interacted with him.
Did he point at you?
He didn't, because his arm didn't move that way.
Oh,
but
damn.
it did move up.
Because I remember when he first came out, he could do this with his arm.
Oh, that's if Strassman turns, yeah.
Yeah,
Oops,
that's
I
what I
just
meant.
knocked the mic. Yeah, I know. If he turns with him, then yes, and if he holds it in a certain position, it will look like he's pointing in a horizontal direction.
Okay.
But the arm itself is just up and down.
Okay. All right.
Look closely, kids.
Back to the clan without pity. This one almost made my list. I like very much the scene in the House of Evil with the that's good and that's bad. I like, when the doll starts trying to kill him and Bart's like, I'd say the pressure's gotten to Dad.
Marge,
but what
Marge,
pressure?
the doll's trying to kill me and
Yeah,
the toast's been laughing at me again.
And when he runs naked through the house and one of the sisters is like, there goes the last shreds of my heterosexuality.
I think I pointed this out when we were watching. I'm
He
like, how good of a reference is that?
Yeah, you did point this out, and I was still surprised that you hadn't realised it until then.
What?
Isn't the one that said that the one that in the end is gay?
Patty.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is season 4.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so decade more later, they hark back to that comment.
Yeah. Because it's in the first season where she almost marries Seymour.
Although it could be argued that
so
it's
by
not
season 4...
No, Selma is the one who marries everybody. She's married Troy McClure.
No. Selma wanted to be set up with Principal Skinner. Was too scared. Sent Patty out. And Skinner fell in love with Patty.
Yeah, but Patty didn't fall in love with Skinner.
Yeah, I know that. But she still dated him and went along with it. But as she said, last shreds of her heterosexuality.
Yeah, but...
So she was heterosexual at one point.
It's not canonical. I thought that was really cool that a writer went, oh, I'm a Simpsons fan, I remember this, and made a story out of it.
Anyway, I think this one didn't make my list just because I was a bit annoyed at such of a silly ending that it was just, the button was wrong. And he went to being a slave. I just thought, they could have ended that a little better.
I thought it was good. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, as I said, I like everything up until the guy appears and switches the button. I like everything up until that moment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 4. Hungry are the damned.
Mm.
This is from the first Treehouse of Horror episode. How could we forget the first appearance of our favourite green tentacled extraterrestrials? Not only does this tale deserve kudos for the introduction of Kang and Kodos, try saying that 10 times fast, but
Kang
the
and
continued...
Kodos.
Deserve kudos for the introduction.
Oh, good one.
But the continued reveal of the ominous cookbook Lisa discovers on their spaceship makes every moment worth it. For the first of many occasions, the monster is not quite who you'd expect.
No, the monster was the chef voiced by James L. Jones.
You mean Serac the Preparer?
Yeah.
I was going to mention this.
Which I'd like to point out, which we keep saying that a lot in this episode, I'd like to point out this, I'd like to point out that.
That's the whole point. We're discussing.
Ha, get it? Point out, point, zing, gotcha. Comedy.
He's pointing at the screen. Serac,
when
yes.
Marge asked, what is your name? He said, to pronounce it correctly, I'd have to rip out your tongue. Later on, it's Serac.
Maybe that's just a nickname.
Maybe.
It could be like Kevin.
I think Sidorak.
It could be like Kevin.
Banders of Sidorak from Marvel. Anyway.
It could be like Kevin. Remember, he said his whole long name, but then it was just Kevin.
Han Solo.
Alright. I enjoy this episode, mainly because, yes, it's the first time we see the aliens, but this is also one of 2 instances, only 2, in all of the Treehouse of Horror episodes we watched, where there is another alien besides Kang and Kodos. And the only other time we saw other aliens was in episode 8, where they called back to their home planet, and we finally saw what 2 older Kang and Kodoses would look like.
They're also fatter.
And they also didn't believe a word coming out of Kang and Kodos' mouth.
No.
But it's very rare to see, apart from Maggie, another alien besides Kang and Kodos. Which I find a bit strange, considering in the very first episode we saw them, there were 3. And then after that, they just constantly went back to 2.
Oh, cashing in on James L. Jones.
They could have brought in anyone with a funny voice.
James L. Jones was a voice in every single episode of that
episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every single story in that episode.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't have to bring back Serac the Preparer. They could have just brought back someone else on the ship. Didn't have to have the same voice.
I'm sure they have in other episodes.
I still think it deserves a point for having more
Where is
than
Lur?
2 aliens in it. Who?
Lur from Futurama.
I don't know.
Ruler of Omicron Persei-8.
I don't know who that is. All right.
Oh.
Another alienific episode.
Citizen Kang.
Citizen Kang. Decades
Bob
after
Dole don't
and...
need this.
Huh?
Bob Dole
don't need this. Decades after and political light years away from the 1996 presidential race, this vignette is still a gutbuster. Our greasy green friends Kang and Kurdos disguise themselves as Bill Clinton and Bob Dole in an attempt to take over the United States, and by extension, the world. But with zero knowledge of earthly politics. The result is the oddest election, yes, even including 2016, that is itself quite the Halloween horror.
I think 2016 was Trump's inauguration.
Oh dear God. Oh, don't blame me. I voted for
Dang it.
Kurdos.
I was waiting for my opening to do that one. I was waiting and waiting.
Shananigans and I quote that all the time. As soon as you didn't do anything wrong, it's don't blame me. I voted for Kurdos. Alright, this is apparently a parody of a 1941 drama film called Citizen Kane, which... Yep. Okay, I have had no idea about this, but he apparently does.
Go for it.
It details the life of Charles Foster Kane, who is a fictional character, but it's wildly believed that he was based on publishing tycoon William Randolph Hearst. Again, this is all stuff that I have no idea about. So I have no idea about the kind of parody it was. Didn't know it was a parody. Just loved it for what it was. Loved the whole thing. Sure you did, Remy. Mm-hmm. And this one is on my list. As it should be. I think if I quote it as much as I should, and I have t-shirts from it, it should be on my list.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to say the next episode.
Why?
Because I'm hoping I can get in something.
Alright, number 2. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. The Shinning.
Damn it! You meant to say The Shining.
The Shitting. It's alright, that comes up in... That comes up.
Sued?
It's alright, that comes up in the description. Nearly every Treehouse of Horror tale is a parody, which we've already said, on a classic story, but The Shinning proves perhaps the pinnacle of these retellings. After a long journey delayed by multiple trips back to lock the house...
We forgot Grandpa!
But what about Grandpa?
Aren't we going to go back?
The Simpson family settles in as the new winter caretakers of a famous lodge that was once the setting of Shudder 5 John Denver Christmas specials. Without his vices, Duff, and television, Homer descends into madness. The rest of the episode essentially does what it says on the tin. With some requisite lamp shading, Willie asks Bart if he wants to get sued when he actually mentions The Shining. You mean Shining? Shh! You want to get sued? And don't check in between 5 and 6. That's Willie's time.
And it's also the very famous, very popular scene of give me the bat, Marge. Give me the bat, Marge.
Give me that. Give me that. Boo. Well, it won't surprise any...
No TV and no beer make Homer something. Go crazy.
Don't mind if I do. I still like when she walks into the room, but he's typed will give me a window into his thoughts. Feeling fine. Alright, it probably doesn't surprise anyone that this one is on the 12 truly scary. Here's Daddy.
No, what's that?
He does that.
Johnny. No. David Letterman. Hi, David. I'm Grandpa. Oh. I'm Polly. I'm da-da-da-da. Oh, that and more on tonight on the next 60 minutes.
He starts screaming. All right, as I was saying,
Sorry.
That's all right. It probably won't surprise anyone that this is on one of the 12 truly scary Simpsons segments. And I'm just trying to see what the reason is.
Because it was good. The end.
Obviously, based on The Shining, it's one of the best parodies ever made and is still able to pull off clever jokes in the middle of being truly creepy, which I think Shananigans and all his quoting just pointed out.
That was good.
And I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but this one is on my list. Definitely on my list. This is one of those episodes where, like I said, I laughed from the very first line of, did you lock the front door? No! To the last line, which is, change channel, can't, frozen, Urge to Kill Rising. Loved every single line the whole way through. It wasn't anything I didn't
Fading.
like. It's on my list.
Fading. Rising.
Fading. Fading.
Gone.
Gone. All right. We're up to number 1.
All right, cool.
This person's best ever Treehouse of Horror
Okay.
story.
I'm ready. Drum roll. Go.
Guess what?
It's the
It's
Raven. I should have guessed.
my
I saw it earlier.
favorite. As I said, everyone, on my list, I don't have them numbered from 1 to 10 because I love them too much to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have my absolute favorite ever Treehouse of Horror segment, which is The Raven. And this person
I think you mean
agrees with me. Huh? Segment, tale, whatever. This person agrees with me. The Raven.
Now, are you
First
going to
ever
go into
episode,
the historical
number
background
1.
of this episode?
I will, yes.
Okay, good. I just
The
want proof here.
Raven sets itself apart not just with the voice talent of James Earl Jones,
Mhm.
which let's face
Damn
it,
fine.
could be reason enough for this story's high placement.
Oh, damn.
However, unlike most Simpsons parodies, the dialogue rarely deviates from the author's original words, showcasing particular inventiveness on the animators' and voice actors' parts. And the only thing more memorable than an incessantly croaking raven is one that resembles Bart Simpson. May God help us all. My favourite, my absolute favourite Treehouse of Horror tale ever, everybody. The Raven.
Okay, sneak peek at my list.
If this isn't on your list, I'm going to hit you.
It's on my list, but it's on my list not for comedic value or episode integrity, I guess, but just purely for the genius of it. And I think that summed it up. Just James L. Jones reading it being a classic horror tale or spooky tale,
It is
whatever you
a
call it.
parody of The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe.
Correct. And yeah, just I think there was a section there where it said something about the animators taking not liberties but jumping on those ideas and extrapolating it out to what it became.
Yeah,
It
so
was
despite
just
so it's
pure genius. I thought
yeah,
it was a
unlike
really good
unlike
one.
other parodies, this dialogue doesn't really deviate from the original. So the animators and the voice actors have had to use a bit more inventiveness.
Yep. So yeah, it's on my list not because of entertainment value or anything other than those features that were mentioned.
I can't explain why this one is my absolute favorite. It just is. I like the fact that they're talking in the old language. I think that adds a really good tone, especially in James L. Jones' voice. I love, the fact that they've got the funny little bits, like when he's talking about the smell in the room and then he gets hit in the head by the sensor and he actually says, "Stupid sensor."
Yeah, but that's the melding. That's what
Yeah,
they're
I
saying.
know.
That's
And
why it's so good.
I like seeing the titles of the books that Bart actually drops on him, and the little raven's walking around his head, nevermore, nevermore, when he's been knocked out.
You recognise the importance of those books, yeah?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay,
Yeah. But it's all those little things like this. Like I could read this poem, and it would, as Lisa did, it probably wouldn't, strike fear in anyone's heart. But actually watching this poor man who's missing his dead wife being tormented by this bird, it's awesome. It's entertaining. It's creepy. It's my absolute favorite. I'm staring at the pop right now. I love it.
Do you know what would be scarier?
Anything.
Correct.
This better be good. Darkness there, and nothing more. You know what would have been scarier than nothing? What? Anything!
Cool. Well done. All right, now what?
Eat my shorts. Bart, stop that. He says nevermore, and that's all he'll ever say. And the little Bart cackle at the end of the episode. He goes nevermore in James L. Jones' voice, and then you hear Bart go, All right, everybody. That is the end. There's absolutely nothing more to Kiara. See, it says Claire Martin at the bottom of the article, but I swear it says Kiara Martin at the top. Anyway, that's the end of her list. Very happy with that list. I like that list. So that list had 4 of the 12 truly scaries on it, and it had 5 out of my 10 on
Cool.
it. Do you want to compare lists now?
No, but I'll do it for the sake of the podcast.
How about I do my list first?
Okay, yeah, you do your list.
Okay, so my list, again, this is in order of appearance, it's not in order of preference. The Raven, which was on this list. Woohoo. Homer Brain Robot, which was not on this list. That's the list. That's the episode where...
Yeah, what's the episode called, though?
It's called Homer Brain Robot.
Oh, was it?
Yes. I apologize if I'm getting that wrong. I looked it up, and that's what I got. I got Homer Brain Robot.
I'm a Google.
You Google and make sure it's correct. This
Keep
is the
talking.
episode where Smithers and Burns put Homer's brain in a robot. And rather than being a productive member of society, it sleeps all day and eats donuts. And then, yes, at the end of the episode, they put his brain back in his body, and Homer wakes up with Burns' head attached to his shoulders. Again, it's on my list because the entire way through it, I loved every little bit. There wasn't one bit I didn't like. Have you looked that up yet? Alright, he'll get back to me.
I'm still looking.
The next one on my list is King Homer, which of course was on Claire Martin's list. The one after that is Dial Z for Zombies, which was not on her list. This is the one where Bart, dabbling in the black arts, raises zombies all across town, and they eventually send them back to their graves. But again, it was an episode where the whole way through...
The episode is called If I Only Had a Brain.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Did it actually...
was from season 2. It contained the episodes The Monkey's Paw,
Mm-hmm.
The Bart Zone,
Mm-hmm.
and If I Only Had a Brain.
Oh, the Bart Zone. That's what the Jack in the Box one's called.
Correct. So The Monkey's Paw was Lisa's dream. The
I
Bart
wish
Zone
for
was
world
Bart's dream.
peace.
Nightmare, I should say. And If I Only Had a Brain was Homer's nightmare. And then
Okay.
the zing at the end was he wakes up and it
Okay,
was true.
I apologize, everybody. I swear I got Homer Brain.
I did my research.
I swear I got Homer Brain Robot because we watched these on Disney Plus. I either got it from the title card or I got it from Wikipedia. So somewhere I've got it wrong. But yes. So I had the Raven. I had Homer Brain Robot, which...
If I Only Had a Brain.
What is it,
Which is
Smithers? The
oddly fitting.
Booger Man? It's the man in the bag, sir. I think he might still be alive. This is one of the few...
Bad corpse.
This is one of the few times where Mr. Burns has any kind of strength. King Homer, which was on the list. Dial Z for Zombies. Barney. I'm not a zombie, but hey, when in Rome.
I'm not a zombie.
You shot the zombie Flanders. He was a zombie. Yes, so these ones on my list are things that I enjoyed the whole way through. There wasn't one thing that I can remember not enjoying. The next one on my list is... Oh, wait, no, sorry. The Devil and Homer Simpson, which we mentioned. With the
Homer.
with the donut. The next one on my list is Terror at 5.5 Feet. This
That was
is
the Gremlin.
Bart's nightmare about the gremlin. This one is on the Truly Scary website. This adaptation of the Neighborino. Alright, so on the Truly Scary list...
Terrible Flanders on my part.
On the Truly Scary Simpsons Tales list, the picture for this episode is the gremlin holding up Ned Flanders' head into the ambulance window before Bart starts screaming. This adaptation of the classic Twilight Zone episode Nightmare at 20,000 Feet succeeds in a way that you would never imagine it could, by making a school bus terrifying. In the segment,
scarier than
going to school. They must mean the gruel bus.
Gruel?
Nope. Yeah.
Ghoul.
I thought for sure it was gruel bus. All right. See, it
I
says right there, school bus.
I always heard ghoul bus.
I always heard gruel bus. All right.
Gruel is type of food.
I know what gruel is.
Ghoul
Don't
is
you remember
at least
from the Krusty the Camp episode with the fat camp kids? Sweet, nourishing gruel. In the segment, Bart sees a nightmarish gremlin hanging on the side of his school bus and he tries in vain to get anyone to believe him. So yes, this one was one of my favourites. I loved this the whole way through. You know, getting on... I've just found these sitting in some guy's boat. Bart being terrified, getting on the bus, seeing Skinner there. Mother took my keys for talking to a woman on the phone.
Right to do so.
She was right to do it. Willie getting on because his dog wouldn't walk in the mud.
Donkey.
Mule. Yeah, okay, so his donkey wouldn't walk in the mud. And to the
wouldn't
very
walk in the
end, look
dog.
at the bus. I was right, I tell you, I was right. Right or wrong. Your actions were still destructive, young man. Yes, I loved this episode, and it was a scary one. I liked a scary one.
Okay.
All right, the next one on my list was Bart Simpson's Dracula.
Mm-hmm. Vampires.
His hairdo looks so gay. I heard that. It
It
was
was
the boy!
I know I
Yeah.
really shouldn't, but when am I going to come back?
Whee! Yeah, this whole episode, from the scene in the mansion to all the kids flying outside Lisa's window to Marge's line of next day he could be smoking
Die, foul beast! Dad,
to
that's his crutch.
Mr. Burns
Oh.
going, "You're fired!" to the whole family just floating up around Lisa going, "We're all vampires." Whole episode, loved it. The next one on my list is The Shining. The Shining,
Shinning.
which we mentioned, which was a truly
suit,
scary
yeah.
one. The next one on my list is Citizen Kang, which we also mentioned. The last one on my list I was sad not to see on this list. It was Easy Bake Coven. Marge is the witch.
Which, yeah, the beginnings of Halloween.
Yes, let's throw her off the
That
cliff.
was the story. I heard that was the story of the first caramel
Oh,
cod.
God. Halloween.
Halloween.
We have done the Lord's work and set a good woman into his waiting. Shh.
Oh, dear.
All right, everybody. Let's not jump to conclusions now. Well, I'll be a son of a witch. I really loved that episode. I loved from the fact that she was a witch to the scene with her sisters to the fact that they were going to eat children and then they ate candy.
What do you mean they were going to eat children? They
Well,
did eat children.
Well, we didn't realise that until Marge made her comment at the end about filling up
Shouldn't
on
have filled up.
kids before they got to the Flanders. I loved that episode, and I've always loved it, and I was a bit sad it wasn't on the list. But yes, that's my list. Only 2 out of my 10 were actually scary, apparently.
I've got no idea. I wasn't paying attention.
But yes, those are my lists.
Cool.
I like what's on my list.
Yeah.
I'm going to share with what's on your list now.
Yeah, all right. I can do that.
You don't actually have a list, do you?
I do.
He
You're not going to
insists-
like it, though.
He insists he have a list, but he hasn't told me what's on it.
No. So I have a list. It's not 10, and it's not in order.
Mine aren't in order.
Okay, good.
Mine are in order of appearance, just as I said.
See,
I-
I did that as well.
I said to people I couldn't number them 1 to 10 because apart from me knowing the Raven is my favourite, I can't list them in terms of preference.
Okay. I had, in numerical order of appearance,
Mm-hmm.
The Raven,
Yeah.
Season 2. Dial Z for Zombie, Season
Aha.
3. The Devil and Homer Simpson, Season 4.
Aha!
Treehouse of Horror 4, Season 5. All
The
three
whole
of them.
episode.
The Devil and Homer Simpson, Terror at 5.5 Feet, and Bart Simpson's Dracula.
Oh,
That
yeah, I have
whole-
the same.
That whole episode was a strong episode.
Yeah, I have the
Um,
same. I have all of season 5 on my list. Yeah.
The Shinning, Season 6. Time and Punishment, Season 6.
Yeah, that one almost made my list.
Treehouse of Horror 6 from Season 7. All 3. Attack of the 50-Foot Eyesore.
Yeah, that one
Nightmare
almost...
on Evergreen
that one
Terrace.
almost made my list.
Homer Cubed.
Yeah, I thought about putting
That-
that on my list.
That episode messed me up as a kid. That the ending really messed me up, but I loved it. It's a big one for me. All right, skipping ahead.
As I said, there were a lot on my list that could have gone on my list, but then I would have had more than 10. I had to be really critical. But yeah, I really agonized over putting Time and Punishment and Homer Cubed on because I thought I really did like those, but Homer Cubed didn't make my list just because I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the fact that he ended up in our world and not with his family.
Yeah, that was the part that messed me up, was that everything collapsed in on itself. He got torn apart, and then he
Ended up eating
reappeared
erotic cakes.
IRL, and then he went to erotic cakes, which
And I
as
think-
a kid I clearly remember it being exotic cakes. I'm watching the episode and it's erotic cakes. I'm like, oh.
And Time and Punishment, I couldn't find any point in the episode that brought it down. I just felt like it was just shy of hitting a high note.
Fair enough. I liked him because I think that's where David S. Cohen came in, and he does a lot of, if not all of, Futurama stuff.
Mm.
And there is a lot of nerdy mathematical
Yeah.
jokes in there. I mean,
Do you
Homer
see a
cubed, he
light,
went to the
Homer?
third dimension, and literally
Move into the
everywhere
light. Ow!
everywhere he's looking is three-dimensional objects or references to math or grids or something. So it's a very much a.
The third dimension. Oh, sorry.
What else have I got? That was season 7. The Omega Man from season 9.
Yes, that one almost made my list. It was going so well until the mutants appeared. I thought when the mutants appeared,
Okay.
it went downhill. The only thing that was good from that point on was the fact that the lead painting in the house saved his family. I didn't like the mutant part of the end of that story.
Treehouse of Horror 9 from season 10. I put all 3, but honestly, I would put it lower on my list if it was a top 10.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a strong. It wouldn't be up there. It'd be below 5.
What episodes were in that one?
Hell to Pay, The Terror of Tiny Town, and Starship Poopers.
Starship Poopers almost made my list. That's the one where Maggie is an alien.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy. I have that pop. I sort of felt that the whole Jerry Springer thing wasn't all that good, and I didn't like the fact that in the end the aliens just flew off. And I also didn't like the fact that Maggie talked in the end with that evil voice.
I'll drive.
I mean, it was funny, but I sort of felt like they could have, if they'd left that out, it would have been just as fun. What was Terror at Tiny Town?
The Terror of Tiny Town is where they go into the TV.
Oh,
Itchy and Scratchy cartoon, and then how Bart and Lisa are going to get themselves out of this, and they come out, and then Itchy and Scratchy follow them, and then
you have to be neutered, young man. No. Yeah, again, that's one that was funny, but I felt it was missing a high note.
And Hell to Pay. Yeah, as I said,
what was Hell to Pay?
Hell to Pay was the one where Homer got Snake's skin. No, he's got his.
Oh, he
hair.
got the hair. Oh, yeah.
And it was controlling him and going around killing Mo, Apu, and then trying to kill Bart.
I felt that had a sort of wussy end in Homer just pulling the hair off, and then the police having to shoot the hair. I'm like, I'm sorry, if you
That's just
if
comedy.
you pull the hair off the head, it doesn't move.
That's just comedy.
I know, but I sort of felt that one was just, it didn't, again, it was lacking a little bit.
Oh, Barty, Daddy would like a word with you. My skull picture. So yeah, that made my list, but it'd definitely be on the lower end of the spectrum. Treehouse of Horror. Oh wait, no, skip that. I've typed that out really weirdly. I Know What You Did Diddly Did. Season 11, where Flanders is a werewolf.
Wolf.
It was good. That was it, and then I've got some special mentions.
I think the funniest part of that episode was the last scene where Homer was like,
yeah, I think that's what
Flanders,
sealed it for
don't
me.
do that, don't touch me there. And then he starts screaming.
I think that's what sealed it for me.
Flanders, knock it off.
Special mentions. Season 8. Sorry, Treehouse of Horror, episodes 7, Season 8. The Thing and I, The Genius Tub, Citizen Kang.
What was the Genius Tub? Was that the ant?
The ant?
No, what was the Genius Tub?
So you've got The Thing and I, which was Hugo. And Bart. The Genius Tub was where Lisa created...
the little world.
The little world in the tub.
Yeah, again, I think the ending for that ruined it for me. I was just like, oh, she's stuck in there.
Citizen Kang. So I've made notes for this one. The Thing and I is nostalgia because, I think I said
That's where you started.
That's where I started watching Simpsons. The Genius Tub, again, nostalgia. Citizen Kang, if I took it by itself, is funny. It's one of my favorite ones. So that's why it got a special mention. Treehouse of Horror 10, Season 11, Desperately Seeking Xena. I thought that was a funny one. It wasn't great.
Stretch
but it was...
Dude and Clover Girl.
See, that annoyed me, but I didn't mind.
Xena can't fly.
Told you, I'm Lucy
Xena.
Lawless.
I'm Lucy. I think the part in that episode that gets to Shannon the most would be the you took it out of its original packaging.
That one got me. These are not Treehouse of Horror.
We're discussing Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah, but I thought these deserved special mentions.
Why? Are they scary in any way?
They are otherworldly. You'll see. The Springfield Files, Season 8, Episode 10. You know that one? Yes.
Yeah, in the grass.
That's the episode where they think they've discovered an alien, but it turns out it's just
It's
Mr.
not an
Burns.
alien. It's Mr. Burns.
Stop.
Oh, it's Mr. Burns. Kill it!
So I felt that one should get special mention.
I'm happy to answer any questions about the alien. Yes, is the alien carbon based or silicone? The second one, xylophone.
The other one, this one technically isn't a Simpsons episode, but I threw it in. Family Guy, The Simpsons Guy, season 13, episode 1.
Okay, well, I have no reference for this.
This is the crossover episode.
I gathered that from the title.
Ha.
What's it about? Wait, is
Uh,
this what you were telling me the other day where the Family Guy comes to live with the Simpsons?
yes,
Okay.
it's where
And they all get along fantabulously
They all
until
get
they don't.
along fantabulously until Homer and Peter get into an argument about which beer is better, Duff or Pawtucket. I think I said that
Okay.
wrong. And then you
The
find
man from
out
Nantucket?
something like that. And
His
then
head
you
like a
find
bucket?
out, the joke is that Pawtucket Brewery or beer is just a cheap knockoff of Duff beer, because it's then becomes this whole meta joke about how Family Guy is just a knockoff of The Simpsons, and Simpsons and Family Guy are both a knockoff of something else. And if you haven't seen it, you should, because it's a very entertaining and very funny joke. It's a very funny, poignant joke.
It was actually funny. I was watching, I think it's a Simpsons season 1, episode 3, and Homer's lost his job and he's going all safety nuts. He's lying on the couch and he sees an ad for Duff beer, and I think that's actually the first time it's actually mentioned. I think in the first couple of episodes when he's drinking, it's not specifically Duff. It's
Why
just
is
beer.
the ET website showing us Star Trek? That's 7
I
of
don't
9. It was Picard a
know.
second
Stop
ago.
looking at the
I
ads.
saw Jason Alexander dressed up as Captain Kirk.
Stop looking at the ads.
They're so
Are you
interesting.
finished with your list yet?
Last one. This one's highest regard. Simpsorama. Season 26, episode 6. The crossover episode between Simpsons and Futurama.
Oh, okay, not what I was thinking. All right, what happens?
Without spoiling too much, because I really would like to watch this episode again. Springfield Elementary create a time capsule.
Okay.
And Bart puts a sandwich or
Yeah,
blows his nose or something in there, throws it in, and then it's
He goes to put his sandwich in, and they say something like, "Are you sure that's the legacy you want to leave?" And I think he blows his nose in the
That's it,
sandwich
yep.
and then puts it in.
Yep, and then radioactive waste from the radioactive plant.
Yeah, because they dig the hole to throw
the
it
nuclear
in,
plant, sorry.
and the green stuff just rises.
Seeps into it, and it creates little monsterized Barts that terrorize New York in the year 3000, which is where Futurama is set.
Ah.
So, to make sure it doesn't happen, Professor Farnsworth sends back Bender in time to go kill Homer, believing it's because it's Homer Simpson's DNA.
Yeah.
But then just the main characters go back. I think it's Farnsworth, Fry, Leela, and Bender all go back. And Bender and Homer get along really well, and they're drinking at the bar. It's just funny. And then at the end, they go back, but Bender can't go back. So Homer agrees to look after him and sets him to sleep until the year 3000, puts him in the basement, and just throws him down. Then you're like, oh, all right, that's the end. But then he sneaks down and puts a Duff 6-pack or something there for him when he wakes up,
Aww.
because robots are fueled by alcohol in the future. It is a really good episode. Big sentimental feels for it. So yeah, there you go. Special mentions because they are otherworldly or spooky or weird that wouldn't normally fit the Simpsons mold, and Halloween specials that I mentioned. You're welcome.
I thought for sure that one of the special mentions on your list would have been a certain intro that you giggled at.
Are you talking the Fox sensor dude?
Yes.
Yeah, I found that one very entertaining. I
Yes.
can't remember what one that was
So
from.
it's from Treehouse of Horror episode 8. It's the actual intro to the episode, so it's the Fox censor who is censoring the episode as we speak. And all of a sudden, an arm comes out from the rating sign on the wall and just starts stabbing him slowly in the back.
I just found it funny.
And the
because
whole
it's a
time
very-
this was playing, Shananigans just gave out a little giggle, and then a louder giggle, and then a chortle, and then just full-on laughing.
because that's another meta commentary. He's no, and then he reads something and it's hilarious to him. No, because censorship. It was funny, and then the thing he's trying to protect us from is what ends up killing him because, meta. Anyway, we're done.
All right. I'm just going
I think
to.
we're done. I've
We
said my
are.
stuff.
We've gone through.
I don't know
This,
about you, but I'm getting the hell out of
we've
here.
gone from that. We've gone through the 10 best treehouse of horror tales from The Simpsons on Paste Magazine by Clay Martin. I've gone through what I enjoyed most from our research. Shenanigans has gone through what he's enjoyed most. I am just going to read out the missing 12 scary Simpsons that we didn't read. So, apparently, according to ET, the 12 scariest Simpson tales are, and these aren't in order of scariest to lowest, they're just in order of appearance. Bad Dream House from the first episode. Clown Without Pity from the third
kill you,
one.
Homer Simpson.
Terror at 5.5 Feet from the fourth one.
Bart.
The Shinning from the fifth
Go
one.
crazy, don't mind if I do.
Nightmare Cafeteria from the fifth one.
I'm sure the two Simpsons children will be saved.
I'm gonna eat your shorts, Bart.
I think I'll start by
eating your shorts.
shorts.
Nightmare on Evergreen Terrace from the 9th episode, sorry.
Boo!
The Omega Man from the 8th episode, which, as I said, I really enjoyed this one up until the mutants appeared.
I'm trying to think of one liner from that one.
Poof! I showed him.
No, oh, that's right.
You call that prime? You call that prime rib?
Move it! A friendly punch will help him. Just completely destroys the skull. Still got it.
That showed him. All right. I know what you diddly did, which was on Shenanigans' list. Apparently, that's one of the scariest. That's from episode 10. Night of the Dolphin, which is
we didn't
from
get up to that one.
episode 11, which, yes, we didn't get up
season
to.
12.
I think I remember this. This is where Lisa frees a dolphin from the zoo. And
Aquarium.
from the zoo.
Why would a dolphin be in a zoo? It would be in an aquarium. Anyway.
Lisa frees a dolphin from the zoo. The dolphin's a porpoise king, and he leads all the other dolphins in a violent revolt against mankind. Yes, I do.
Excuse me.
Driving the citizens of Springfield out into the sea to eventually be drowned. Yes, I do remember that one. The Island of Dr. Hibbert, which we discussed.
Lie then.
Don't Have a Cow, Mankind, which is actually from the 20th episode.
Yeah, do not remember. Don't know that one. Not at all.
No, so when Krusty Burger introduces a new hamburger made from cows that had eaten other cows, it leads to a zombie outbreak where almost everyone in Springfield is turned into a muncher. Only Bart is immune to the disease, and the family must fight their way out of the city to a safe zone where a cure can be made from Bart's genes.
Cool.
Cool. All right. And then the last one is... So this one isn't actually a segment. This is like one of those little stories that you get in an episode. It's the Inside Out Murder Fog, which we actually did see. So it's
one
at the end of Nightmare Cafeteria where they wake Bart up and you go, it was just a dream. There's nothing to be scared of. Except from that fog that turns people inside out. Oh no. It's seeping in. Stupid cheap weather stripping. Yeah, so apparently that's one of the scariest things. Even though it's not an actual episode.
I don't know the words of the song.
I was going to say, keep going. The family dog is eyeing Bart's intestine.
No, we're not up to that bit yet.
Happy
you ruined it.
Halloween.
You ruined it. There was a bit before that.
Yeah, no, but you didn't know the words.
I was getting to it. I knew that last bit.
Well, you're
Goodbye,
just too slow tonight, aren't you?
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. This has been a Shananarambles
Just like a shit intro, I'm doing a shit outro.
This has been Shananarambles about the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
We're still not sold on that name.
Hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I tried my best. Please come again.
Wait, no, you have to remind the people. Guys, if you liked what we did here, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Doing all that stuff will get A Game off my back, and that will be greatly appreciated. I will owe you a Coke. Two, check out our other content because we do stuff regularly and it's entertaining. I get told that frequently that we do stuff and it's good. I have to pass those messages on to A-Game because she's an egomaniac, and we have to fuel and stroke her ego so that way she sits pretty and thinks that the world is bowing before her.
It's not bowing before me right now.
People can't see, but I'm blinking furiously for help. I think that's it. Guys,
bye,
we will
everybody.
see you in the next... See you? You'll see us. You'll hear us. You will read about us in the next podcast.
If you have stuck with us all the way to the end,
if you liked reading all of this...
ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Yeah, make sure you come back and read more next time. And we'll be here. I'll be here. She'll be there. Or she'll be here and I'll be there. The point is, we'll be here, you'll be there, and you'll be listening to us, and we'll be listening to you.
And we'll all enjoy it.
But you won't know that. And we'll all enjoy it. Or else.
Happy Halloween.
I don't think our episode was scary.